All right. Good morning, you guys. Happy Monday. I'm going to go over the subtraction problems that you guys did on Friday so that you can check your work. So number one, we had 4 2/3 minus 3/4. So our common denominator is 12 because you did 4 times 3, and that's also the lowest common denominator. So 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12. 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12. So 8 minus 9, you can't do it. So you needed to borrow one whole from your whole number. So if I borrowed one whole, I needed to add it to this fractional side. But I can't add it as a whole number. I need to change it into fraction form. So I changed it to 12/12. So now I have 3 wholes over here, and I'm adding one whole here. So 8/12 plus 12/12 equals 20/12. 20 minus 9 equals 11. So now you have 3, because you have a 3 here, and there's nothing to subtract from it. So 3 and 11/12. And it's already simplified. There's nothing more you can do because you can't do anything with 11. Okay, so then number 2, you had 6 1/4 and 3 5/8. You could have either wrote out your multiples and found out that 8 is your lowest common denominator, or you could have done 8 times 4 equals 32. If you did the 32, you just need to make sure you simplified at the end. So you should still have the same answer at the very end. So 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8, and then 5/8 is already an 8, so I just needed to move it over. 2 minus 5, I couldn't do it. So I needed to borrow one whole and add it over here to my fractional side. So I borrowed one whole, so I only have 5 wholes now. And I added that one whole over to my fractional side. So 2/8 plus 8/8 equals 10/8. So 10 minus 5 is 5. So now you have 5/8. 5 minus 3 is 2. So your answer is 2 5/8, and that's already simplified because you can't do anything. 5 is a prime number, so you can't do anything with it. All right, number 3, you had 8 1/2 minus 3/5. Our common denominator is 10 because 5 times 2 is 10, and even if we wrote out your multiples, it's the lowest common one. So 1/2 is equivalent to 5/10. 3/5 is equivalent to 6/10. 5 minus 6, you can't do it. So you need to borrow from your one whole, or from your 8 wholes. So now you have 7 wholes, and you're putting that one whole that you borrowed over here in fractional form and adding it to your 5/10. 5/10 plus 10/10 is 15/10. 15 minus 6 is 9. So you have 9/10. And then 7 minus 0 is 7. And 9/10 is already simplified because you can't divide 9 and 10 by the same number evenly. I hope you guys are doing okay so far. Remember, you guys can pause and rewind if you guys need to write down what I have here or change something. You don't need to go at the pace that I'm going. I'm just talking faster because I have to make sure my video is less than 10 minutes. All right, so 7 2/9 is number 4, minus 3 5/6. You could have either wrote out your multiples and found out that 18 is your lowest common denominator, or if you did 9 times 6 equals 54 and used that as your denominator, that's fine too. You just need to make sure you simplify at the end. So I'm going to go with 18. So 2/9 is equivalent to 4/18, and 5/6 is equivalent to 15/18. 4 minus 15, you can't do it, so you need to borrow from your whole number. So now you have 6, and you took that whole number and turned it into a fraction over here and added it to your fractional side. 4/18 plus 18/18 is 22/18. 22 minus 15 is 7. So now you have 7/18. Then 6 minus 3 is 3. So 7/18 is your final answer because 7 is a prime number and it can't go into 18 at all. So they can't be evenly divided by the same number besides 1. So 3/17 is the answer for number 4. All right. Number 5, you had 5 2/8 and 3 3/4. The lowest common denominator is 8. You could have done 32 also, but you need to make sure you simplified. But I'm going to go with 8. So 8 or 2/8, you would just move it over because it's still 8s. 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. 2 minus 6, you can't do it, so you needed to borrow from your whole number. So now instead of 5 wholes, you have 4 because you're adding it to the side. And you're adding it as a fractional form, so 8/8. 2/8 plus 8/8 is 10/8. 10 minus 6 is 4, so now you have 4/8. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then you had 4/8, so you need to simplify it, because when you're simplifying things, the first thing you need to ask yourself, can my numerator go evenly into my denominator? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and divide 4/8 by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Don't forget to bring over your whole number. So your final answer is 1 1/2. And even if you did the 32s, like that was your common denominator, your final answer after simplifying should still be 1 1/2. You might not have simplified down enough if you still had 1 4/8. So make sure your answer is 1 1/2. You want to simplify down as far as you can go. All right. So now you guys are going to be working on something different for this week, because you only have 4 days, because Friday starts our spring break. So make sure you guys read the directions and listen to my direction video that I have posted here. Follow directions carefully. And then you guys have all spring break to get caught up with anything that you didn't get finished in the past 3 weeks. So make sure you back up and go through anything that you haven't finished. And I'm probably going to send out a message to your parents if you're missing anything, so that they can kind of push you in the right direction of where you missed stuff. Because I want to make sure you guys aren't missing anything. Okay? All right. Have a great Monday, you guys.